a three-weight world champion. Yeah, this is my goal.
Yeah, it would be a good fight for me and go down fight with him as well.
Yeah.
Could take the belt there. And if I go up and there is Ankalaev and his name, Alex Pereira, they are fighting now. Who is winning can fight for that belt as well.
All my life I cut weight, but now when I want to be big, my weight stays same position, you know. I try to lift more. We do some program and like slowly we bring some maybe 2 kg right now, and it's very hard, you know.
Lopez said in an interview that the UFC are going to try and sort of stop double champs from happening in the future. Like, so if this case happened, you would have asked Ilya to give up the belt. I don't know if that's a rule, but is that something you'd rather see guys actually vacate rather than try and do both at the same time?
Unless you think you can, defend your title. Listen, if there's a guy that thinks he can do it and wants to defend both belts and has accomplished all these great things, I would have no problem with it. But you're going to be busy.
Alright, let's talk about the Mount Everest of combat sports. The one achievement that sits so high, it feels like it's in another atmosphere. We're not just talking about winning a championship, we're not even talking about becoming a Hall of Famer. We are talking about the one single solitary dream that every fighter has probably had, but no one has ever managed to make real. Becoming a UFC champion in 3 different weight classes. Think about what it takes just to get one belt. The UFC is a shark tank. Every single division is a murderer's row of the most dangerous human beings on the planet.
This just puts it even more in stone. That second belt, never been done. No one's even came close. No one's even attempted it. So that's it, my legacy. I'll be immortalized after this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 4 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world, the notorious Conor McGregor!
I get to look at this twice! 2 belts, one on each shoulder, baby!
To climb that ladder, you have to dedicate your entire life. Years of bleeding in the gym, of sacrificing time with your family, of pushing your body past its absolute breaking point. And even then, your shot at the title might come down to one punch, one takedown, one split-second mistake. Winning a single UFC championship is a monumental, life-altering achievement. Now, let's talk about the next level, the Champ Club. This is the most exclusive club in all of sports. It's for the legends who managed to conquer not 1, but 2 divisions. The first man to kick the door down and make it a real thing was, of course, the notorious Conor McGregor. When he knocked out Eddie Alvarez at Madison Square Garden, holding both the featherweight and lightweight belts, he changed the game forever. Since then, only a handful of the greatest to ever do it have joined him. We're talking about legends like Daniel Cormier, Amanda Nunes, and Henry Cejudo. It's a tiny group. So many incredible champions have tried and failed to get that second belt. That alone should tell you how ridiculously difficult it is. But we're here to talk about the impossible. 3 belts. This is the stuff of myth. It's the final boss in the video game of mixed martial art.
Yeah, it didn't go exactly the way I wanted to go, but, dare to be great. The critics and the ones on the sidelines, but I'm the one putting it on the line.
For years, it was just a fantasy, but now we have fighters who are actually talking about it.
A three-weight world champion. Yeah, this is my goal. Yeah, you're not gonna see me in the welterweight division like this, skinny. You're gonna see me different. Yeah, that's the goal. To move up to the lightweight division, get that belt, and then move up to the welterweight division.
I work with the new coach, Coach Carl. I talk about him, go down again, back to my first fights, like 170 or 75, what was that? 170. He said it gives me a couple of months, we're gonna make it, so I don't know who is the champ there, this guy, Australian guy. Yeah, it would be a good fight for me and go down fight with him as well.
Yeah.
Could take the belt there. And if I go up and there is Ankalaev and his name, Alex Pereira, they are fighting now. Who is winning can fight for that belt as well.
He's looking for new worlds to conquer. But here is where the dream crashes into a brick wall of reality. Biggest opponent standing in the way of a 3-division champion isn't another fighter. It's the UFC itself. Let's be honest, the UFC is a business, a very successful one. And that business depends on having active champions who defend their belts. If one single fighter held the belts for 3 different weight classes, say lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight, they would hold those divisions hostage. Think about it. There are dozens of hungry contenders in each of those divisions, all training their hearts out for a title shot. How can one person possibly defend all 3 belts in a reasonable amount of time? They can't. It would create a massive logjam. The divisions would grind to a halt. Fans would get angry, contenders would leave, and the entire structure would fall apart.
Lopez said in an interview that the UFC are going to try and sort of stop double champs from happening in the future. Like, so if this case happened, you would have asked Ilya to give up the belt. I don't know if that's a rule, but is that something you'd rather see guys actually vacate rather than try and do both at the same time?
Unless you think you can, defend your title. Listen, if there's a guy that thinks he can do it and wants to defend both belts and has accomplished all these great things, I would have no problem with it. But you're going to be busy.
It's a logistical nightmare. Dana White has said it himself many times. He's not a fan of it for this very reason. So the UFC's own rules and business model are the first and maybe the biggest barrier. They will almost always make a fighter give up one belt before they can challenge for another.
I want to hold my belt from the lightweight, but it's not possible because I fight in January and we wait. If I fight with Magdalena, when it's gonna be October, November, and fight again February, Ramadan is beginning, holding more than 1 year's lightweight belt, it's not what I want to do,
Yeah,
and
not fair to the division.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's not respect for all these guys,
But okay, let's pretend the UFC suddenly changed its mind and said, go for it. Now the fighter faces an even tougher opponent. The laws of physics and human biology. A fighter's body is a finely tuned machine built specifically for one weight class. You can't just decide to jump up and down 15 or 20 pounds and expect to be the same fighter. Let's use Islam as an example again. For him to go down to featherweight would be a health crisis. The weight cut would be so severe, he'd walk into the cage as a ghost. He would have no power, no chin, no cardio. He would be destroyed by the top featherweights who are naturally that size.
All my life I cut weight, but now when I want to be big, my weight stays same position, I try to lift more. We do some program and like slowly we bring some maybe 2 kg right now. And it's very hard,
Now, let's talk about him going up. Sure, he could pack on muscle and fight at welterweight. That's a challenge, but it's possible. But what about middleweight? We're talking about fighting men who naturally walk around at over 200 pounds. They have bigger frames, longer reach, and a completely different level of raw physical power. Islam would be giving up so much size and strength. His technical skill might not be enough to bridge that gap. The human body simply has its limits. And then we have the 2 secret ingredients that no one likes to talk about: luck and stardom. Luck is the uncontrollable variable. You could be the best fighter in the world, but one freak injury in training can sideline you for a year. You could get a bad referee or a terrible judge's decision. Your opponent could land a 1 in a million shot. To win 3 titles, you need an incredible amount of good fortune to go your way. And then there's stardom. This is the cheat code. This is the Conor McGregor effect. When you are a superstar who generates hundreds of millions of dollars for the company, the rules are different. You get opportunities that no one else gets. You can jump the line. You can pick your fights. Being a massive star gives you a golden ticket that can bypass some of the political and logistical problems we talked about. Skill gets you to the door, but stardom is what gets you the key. So if someone were to actually pull this off, what's the blueprint? What's the recipe for immortality? First, you have to start in the perfect weight class. Lightweight is probably the sweet spot. It gives you a realistic chance to go down to featherweight when you're younger and move up to welterweight as you get older. Second, you have to win your first title early, at the absolute peak of your athletic prime. The window to do something this crazy is incredibly small. Third, and this is a strange one, you can't have friends at the top. Remember when Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya were champions? They were best friends, so they would have never fought each other.
I don't see myself ever fighting Israel. Even though a lot of people kind of be hinting towards it, they're like, yeah, you guys need to fight, I don't see myself fighting him. You know,
there's plenty of people
having
fight.
plenty of people. Having 2 belts in Nigeria is better than just having one guy holding 2 belts.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
And so, there's no desire there, man. That's my guy.
You need a clear path with no personal relationships blocking the way. And finally, you have to be a megastar. You have to be more than a fighter. You have to be a phenomenon. So who on the current roster even has a chance at this? Let's start with the most logical candidate, Alex Pereira. This man is a stone-handed demigod. He's already a 2-division champion, and his move up to heavyweight feels inevitable. The heavyweight division is in a strange place right now, and it's wide open for a new killer to take over. Pereira has the frame, he has the power, and he has the star quality. His path is the clearest. Next, we have the matador, Ilia Topuria. The man is pure confidence and skill. He's already a champion and is calling for a shot at another belt. He has that superstar aura about him. The big question for him is size. Can his incredible technique overcome the raw size and strength of the top welterweights? That remains to be seen. And then there's the ultimate wild card, the wolf himself, Khamzat Chimaev. On paper, Khamzat was built in a lab to do this. He has the frame, the power, and the terrifying skill to compete at welterweight, middleweight, and maybe even light heavyweight. But his biggest enemy has always been himself, specifically his battle with the scales. His challenge isn't one of skill, but of discipline. So, the impossible dream remains just that, a dream. It's a puzzle that requires a perfect combination of skill, timing, politics, physics, and a whole lot of luck. It is the absolute pinnacle of the sport. The question remains, who will be the one to finally solve this puzzle? Who will be the fighter to climb that mountain and plant their flag on a peak no one has ever reached? Who will be the UFC's first and maybe only triple champion?